كاملة بتوقيت دبي على اليوتيوب عبر الرابط المبين.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, my name is Wafaa Waheeda Syed, and I'm a software engineer based in Qatar. I'm also a GDG Doha co-organizer and a Women Technica ambassador. So today I'm really delighted to talk to you about your UI, like should it be fast or slow? We'll be taking a design thinking walkthrough of how you as UI developers should tailor the UI feedback and the response time for your apps. So far, we saw like a quick video of what MENA Digital is. You can subscribe, and you can also see. Stay tuned to their upcoming videos. So let's start with the first thing where we see if should your UI be like fast or slow. So there's like a number of things that we can talk about here, right? Like imagine you when I refer to you, you are like all of the audience. You are developing a UI for your app, and you're either dealing with say like you need to imagine a scenario now. You have an app customer who's trying to load your website, the website that you designed, on their mobile, and they're just waiting, and they're waiting for a very long time to finally see some image and some text load on your web app. And you can see from the picture that I've shown that they've used a mobile to access your site. Maybe you made it more compatible for the web browser. Maybe you're just targeting Chrome users. There could be so many parameters here. So now, like, let's try to really empathize on how, like, the problem you as UI developers are facing here. Like, you have to tailor your UI with respect to all the server restrictions, bad internet speed that your customers might have, maybe bad hardware, maybe their phones are outdated. There's like so many things that you as a UI developer have to keep in mind. And there's also like other things where now, like right now at the moment, we are living in a very scary space where we have like user interfaces being very slow, and the risk of just like getting the end users customers, like I mean our customers computers being more powerful and efficient. Imagine like your customers are not like with a Nokia phone or a a point 0.5 GB RAM kind of phones. Now they're like using very high end hardwares. They're really equipped with a lot of technology, and there's more power in their hands. They're more powerful and efficient in terms of like the devices that they're using. So you can see that it's a scary age for us as front end developers, where we have like only one image and it should load in like so many it should be compatible on different devices, and you need to think of UX and page load time all the time. And this is going to be different too, like depending on the platform the user is using. And it's more challenging on us, like how we cater to these different devices, like, and ensure that the right image is the image is getting loaded on the right time, and the text is being shown. Like there's minimal waiting time, in short. So to just cater to the user experience in this way, it's becoming very challenging. And we cannot emphasize more on the fact that we as UI developers have to take care of these things. Like it's getting very painful. So now, if you think about like just the user feedback that you have to give. So now you can imagine the same customer that we spoke about. Now he's comfortably sitting in his house, and he's instead using his desktop computer, and he's shopping through your app. And you want him to feel more in control, so he does something. Like that's good user experience, right? Like you want him to feel in control. So whatever he does by in control, I mean, so whatever he does, he waits for some time, and then maybe there is another like level of interaction where he's filling a form or something, and then he gets back to like the same thing. So maybe he's going through like shoes or I don't know, something on your shopping website. He clicks on a particular product, he waits, and then he just looks at it, or he fills, or he's just interacting with your product, with your website, and he's more in control. Now when you think of this particular example, you can think of how as a front end developer, you're now like developing that experience for him. Initially it was just like, okay, the website and the platform and the internet, like did the website load fast or slow. Now you're dealing with a different problem where you have to like cater the experience for him, where you're developing this entire experience where he feels in control, and he has like multiple API calls being made, and there's like so many things that you as a front end developer are taking care of. So you have to like think that, okay, there are so many scenarios that could be happening in your code, right? Like that you would be handling. So maybe like once he's clicking on that product image, there are like so many API calls that are being made. There is like animations, transitions that have to take care of. There's like a response time of an API, like you just called it, and it maybe the database went down, or there's so many scenarios that could occur. And it gets like easier for you to handle that in your code. But in order to just give that experience to him, like as a customer, I mean, I don't want to I mean, as a customer, he or she doesn't care about, okay, uh, the particular database didn't exist, or some errors basically. So they really don't care about it, and we really have to like make use of this time that they're spending with our app, and try to really um, help them take action. So if you want to make your customers feel in control, how long do you think he or she should wait before you show like the next consecutive action? So he does something, he waits, but how long do you think he should wait? So that is what we're going to briefly discuss. And Nielsen Norman is a group uh, discussed in the next slide, where we're discussing the response times and the three important limits. So Nielsen Norman NNG is a group where two group of UX designers and consultants, very renowned practitioners, came across, and this is like through heavily researched statistics that they're sharing with us, facts that they're sharing with us, that Jacob Nielsen particularly, he defined that there are three types of time limits, when especially when you're optimizing the performance, when you're trying to cater to your end user. So they are like 0 0.1 second. This is when, like, you give the customer a feeling of instant response. Okay, I clicked on a button and something changed. That should not take more than 0 0.1 seconds. And there's also 1 second, where you have to, like, okay, this is to ensure that this 1 second gives a feeling of okay, as a user, I feel more in control, I feel it's more seamless. Maybe the users will notice a slight delay, but they still feel in more control because of the delay. And 10 seconds is the limit for the user attention. This is what the Jacob Nielsen says. He says that like, imagine your web page is being loaded for the first time, maybe 10 seconds he's gonna wait patiently. Or maybe like he clicked on the product and he's now waiting for your website to give him more pictures of the product. So 10 seconds is his limit, and after that maybe he's not going to wait more. So the response time, there is a limit, and it has had a continuous fall in the recent years. In terms of, like, it's getting shorter. The attention span of users is, like, our customers, is getting shorter. obviously, given the powerful devices they have and the need for speed and everything is just it's crazy out there. So hopefully through like the next few minutes we're gonna walk through what are the different ways that we can use as developers and see like ensure that we can minimize these the rest like cater make our UI not so slow or fast. So just to kind of like give you a meme for you to enjoy. So if you look at this meme, it's also stating a fact that 99% of the usability problems that you see across on the web are mostly related to response times. And like this meme also kind of gives you a clue of what's ahead. Psychologically speaking, factually, there's like this is called tolerance management. There's a particular terminology called psychological time and tolerance management that you have to really identify, and this differs per age group and uh, like just the demographics of the customer, and there's so much research on how this can be different for different kind of demographics of users. So the solution here, like I mean, if you need more examples of like intolerance and the customers needing for speed and their lack of ability to wait, I'd put it. You can think of like the solution does not have to be something really fancy or something like something mind blowing. It can be really simple. Like everything starts with simple solutions. Great designs, like everything starts with very simple and less expensive things. Like maybe if you just think of an experience of being in an elevator, the person who designed an elevator thought that okay, the elevator not just takes a user like a lot of people from floor A to floor B, but it's also having some waiting time. How can I reduce that waiting time? Because we as humans always want to be occupied, and we really can't wait. So the easy solution they found is to install mirrors in elevators. And just like in this, speaking in the context of UI, our solutions can also be simpler. And this is just I'm just sharing this fact to kind of encourage you to think simple, and also like kind of trying to highlight that 99% of the usability problems are because of the response time. So now just to kind of backtrack and explain what I mean by when UI is too fast and what kind of effects it has on the user. Like speaking in terms of like the customer, it makes your customer miss actions. It makes your customer miss products. If your UI is just like reacting too fast, or if it's loading too fast, it's going to be very difficult for them to even use your UI. So they'll be missing a lot of things. It'll be difficult to use, and it violates a big usability principle of making your user feel in control. It's rather very taunting and kind of like makes the user get that psychological sense of okay, it's very fast. I mean, just thinking about the elevator example, think the elevator being very fast. It's I mean, it's also like uh, like like I mean, it's not possible that it can be fast. But think of your web apps in a kind of similar way, where if the website is just reacting too fast, it's difficult, and users can miss actions very easily. So now, if we look at the next slide, now let's talk about what happens when the UI is like slow. So here to just I want to highlight what a slow loading UI can do. So here, like the user, if the UI is just too slow, maybe he'll get very distracted, frustrated, and maybe he'll get bored and he'll leave. So you don't want that to happen either, right? I don't want to repeat the same meme here, but you can imagine, like, okay, now maybe the initial load of your website is taking slow. But what happens when he's clicked on that product and he's waiting for a long time? and then you just show like a error message, he'll get obviously frustrated and he's not going to come to your website back again. So this kind of examples can be like slower API response, uh, like database write failed, or like database fetching data failed through an API, or like so many things can happen just on there are several components on your website web app, and it can lead to a lot of error scenarios. But the customer really doesn't care, and we're really not here to talk about what are the different kind of error scenarios. We're rather going to talk about how the customer doesn't care, and how like you can minimize and like kind of tailor this experience for him, tailor this experience of slow UI, and try to kind of find that balance. Should your UI be really fast, or should it be really slow? Try to really like ask yourself and find an answer to that question through this. Well, it's important to just remember that the waiting, if you have something like a progress indicator, the waiting on a screen gets boring real quick. It gets really boring. So with slow UIs, it's also important to remember that as problems, as you see problems going by, if it's too fast, it's gonna be like very very less common. If your app is too fast, it's very less common. Maybe there are like so many apps that are very very slow. Okay, so now whether your app is fast or slow, the point is to pay attention to the time aspect of the user experience. And that's how we're going to see, like we're going to discuss in the next slide, how we can minimize like and kind of cater to the user time aspect of the user experience. So if you look at the page load, like there are two problems which we have been discussing, right? So there's page load and there's user action. So page load is the first example that we saw, where the users just like where you have the user just browsing your website for the first time, and the web app is loading. So in that scenario, you have a number of issues, and we saw the issues already. Like if your app is very fast, then it might be like really weird. He might appreciate it, but he might be like, okay, what just happened? If your app is very slow to load, then it's also like, okay, he's gonna get frustrated and leave. So there are a lot of measures that you can take. You can first start by optimizing your loading time. Like you need to really research and analyze the loading behavior of your web app, and see like what's going wrong, and what you can do to change it. So optimizing loading time is one of the measures that you can take, and it starts with research and analysis. Some of the tools that you can use are page speed, insights, and GT metrics. Like if you just enter the URL of your website on that particular platform, it's going to diagnose, it's going to like analyze your entire website for performance, and it's going to give you some insights on how your web web app is loading. Maybe you can start working on suggestions from what they suggest. Like they'll probably say your HTML is too long, or you have a lot of redirects, or things like these. But yeah, so these are a few things that you can do to optimize page speed, insights, and GT metrics. These are like two tools that you can use to analyze your website. The other things that you can do are to check your loading flow. This you can do by just doing performance inspection, like performance optimization on Chrome DevTools. If you just start recording for performance and let your website load, it's going to give you a very nice visualization of how your web page is being loaded, and it takes screenshots of every second, every microsecond of how your app is loading. So that's quite useful to see how your web app is loading, and how you can fine tune it more. And the third thing that you can do to kind of improve your page load is to preload your future pages. Well, this might sound a little uh, ambiguous, but if you've used Google Analytics, there's something called a behavior flow. So behavior flow is what helps you understand and kind of figure out what's the next page that the user is gonna take. So the behavior flow shows you where the user wants to enter, like based on the behavior of the user. You can kind of say that, okay, this is kind of the most likely next step that he wants to take, and you can preload those pages. So there are Google Analytics kind of gives you some so it's gonna be some insights like that. Now let's discuss the second scenario that we've been discussing, where the customer is now like interacting with your website, and he wants to now he wants to now like click on a certain button, click on a certain product, and he's waiting for some kind of uh, response from your website. So there are multiple ways that you can handle this. First is by just giving him immediate UI feedback. So imagine he's clicking on a button or a product image, and the kind of feedback that you can think of is animations or maybe a ripple effect, right? Like that's like 0.1 second kind of feedback that you can immediately give. And the second kind of feedback that you can maybe give is having a longer response time. Like, I mean, for scenarios where you need to kind of fetch some data, get more details about the product. So for all those things, maybe you need more than like 10 seconds, for example. In that case, what are you going to do? You can use progress indicators like the loading sign I showed, or you can use placeholder UIs. We're going to talk about these two briefly, like how you can use progress indicators and placeholders. Um, the other kind of thing that you can do is kind of do everything optimistically. Just a minute. Yeah. Yeah. So the other kind of thing, the third thing that we can do for reacting to user actions is optimistic actions. So optimistic actions is nothing but, okay, the user has clicked on the buy button. Maybe the purchase will not happen, or like depending on how the APIs or the backend is gonna react. You kind of program your front end in an optimistic way, saying that it's gonna gracefully accept it. It's gonna first maybe show, okay, you've successfully added the item to the cart, but maybe that didn't happen yet. So you're kind of like optimistically doing this action, though the action is gonna take a long time. You're not allowing the user to wait for such a long time. You're just going ahead and doing the action so that the user experience is saved. So a lot of websites do that, and maybe like if something goes wrong, they have a way of notifying the user. So yeah, these are the kind of different actions that the websites do, like the apps do. Now let's take a deeper look into what you do for a longer response time. So the user has done a user action, like he's clicked on a product, or he's clicked on a particular button, which does like a which takes time. Like he's probably like it's gonna fetch a lot of data from your database. So your front end has to handle that. Your UI has to handle that. So you have a longer response time here. And now, how are we gonna cater to this? So the way we'll go about this is, like, there are so many scenarios that can happen, right? So the first thing we mentioned is the progress indicators. As you can see here on the slide, we have like depending on the kind of API response that we get, there are four scenarios that can happen, right? There's either like uh, dynamic, static, determinate, indeterminate. Determinate, indeterminate based on, like, if the if the API task is gonna get over or not. Dynamic as in, okay, this period of time, like, is specific and it keeps changing, so you don't know how long a page is gonna take to load. Or maybe in a few scenarios you'll know how it's gonna load. So like, these are the four kind of progress indicators that you can think of. And it says project here, but you can imagine this for a product, I mean, for a specific action, and how long that particular action takes, in terms of, like, what are the different scenarios that you get. So either the UI gets the data, and it takes exactly, like, a 1 minute. You're able to estimate the response, and you say, okay, it's going to take 1 minute. And there are scenarios where maybe you cannot estimate time. Maybe you can say, okay, this many data, like this much data has been like downloaded. You can even show things like that. Or you can say, like, if you don't know what's going to happen, if it's indeterminate, you cannot just keep showing like a loading spinner. So my argument is, and also, like, a lot of people all over the web, like, suggest is using placeholder UIs in terms of for a longer response time rather than progress bars, because it gets really tricky when you don't know when a particular action is going to end, when the particular API response is going to stop, or when you're going to get it. So in situations like that, you can use something called as placeholder UIs. And placeholder UIs are nothing, are also known as skeleton UIs. It's just like using blank rectangle boxes in place where you're expecting text or an image. So it's kind of like a placeholder for your entire UI. And as you can see on the screen, we have like an image and text and like description. And for some icons we've put, like, it's just giving the user an insight of, okay, this is how the content is gonna look, and I'm waiting for something meaningful here. Instead of just like a progress sign, and I'm waiting, like, I don't know for how long. Progress indicators are like, I mean, they have a huge con in terms of that way. And I prefer personally, like, skeleton UIs, placeholder UIs, just for this reason, where they're just like helping you, helping the user customer understand that, okay, this is where I'm expecting an image, and this is where I'm expecting a text. uh, and also, like, you can note that there's some animations here on the UI, right? Like, I mean, I just want to briefly talk a little bit about animations and how they can hide the sense of time, like, hide, if your UI is too slow, you can add some distractions like animations, but make sure it's not like very fancy, or you need to be like very subtle when you're choosing animation effects. You also always have to go for something like CSS rather than GIFs, or something that needs, like, again, some data to be fetched from a network. So yeah, wherever you need fancy animation, try to substitute with subtle animated effects. And they're not only good in terms of usability, they're also like, they help you in terms of page loading time. So as you're able to see the GIF here, like, there is some animation, like some transition, in terms of like how the image is switching to the rectangle and here. So may even if another GIF that we saw, like, over there, the animation kind of helps you reduce that, lose the sense of time, and kind of engage the user in a visual way. So for example, like, if you want to give the users like any information about like which content is loading where, you can always like use the skeleton or placeholder UI like I pointed, and you can add some animations. Maybe this is like one way to go about it. So the other steps, like other things that I want to briefly talk about, are how you can do all this and how you can test and find the user, like find your response time for your user. So just like any design thinking process, we started by empathizing, we started by just defining our problem, we ideated on different solutions, and now we're going to talk about prototyping. So now we know what are the different solutions for just talking about like user action and how you have to like respond, how your UI has to respond to it. So in the prototype phase, you can use some progress indicators from Material IO. I've just pointed the link. There are like so many progress indicators out there. Uh, so there's one on app nav bar. There's like animate a linear, circulated, uncircular. Sorry, I'll be sharing a link with you for this. So there's like indeterminate, determinate indicators. There's linear progress. There are so many kinds of progress indicators. So maybe you can start by prototyping with like progress indicators from here, or you can also use Wireframe Pro or any wireframing tools out there, like Figma or any tools, to just make sure to implement these animations and transitions there, and make sure to get some feedback, like inject some user actions, like a button, and when you click on it, like you try to time it. You add like a 5-second delay to one mockup, and 10-second delay to another mockup. So by prototyping in this way, you can create like different screens of your UI, and here you're prototyping for time. So you're just gonna be playing with the time duration of response. So if you have the same UI, and like try to just change the response time in two UIs, and try to prototype by using tools like Material, Wireframe Pro. Uh, so try to like prototype for scenarios such as long response time, short response time, and even app crashes. So you can start by prototyping this way. And for just like testing your prototypes, I'd say explore something called user timing API. User timing API allows you to have performance metrics, like create your own performance metrics. What it does, it takes care of like it records your user session time. It records your user browser, like okay, how long is he on this screen, how long did it take for for him to click on this particular button. All these things can be achieved by just like using the user timing API. And there's a very nice blog article explaining what user timing API is. And if you're not so much a visual, if you like learning from videos, we also have a talk planned on user timing API in GDG Doha Dev Fest. I'll just share a link to GDG Doha Dev Fest, and it's open for everybody. We're trying to live stream on YouTube, so you can check out our session that we have on user timing API dedicated for this. So basically, what the idea is that you'll prototype using prototyping tools like Figma, Wireframe Pro, and try to implement these placeholder UIs uh, and progress indicators with varying response time for different scenarios. And you'll be testing it by just recording time, or if you plan to do a prototype of a higher fidelity using code, like if you have an app already working, you can inject some JavaScript, and so you can use user timing API. Or you can just record screen, like and record time manually. So there are different ways to do it. So in the test phase, you will be designing these experiments and asking your users people who you anticipate to be customers, like you'll just recruit maybe 5 or 10 of them, and give them this prototype and ask them to test it, like okay, give them tasks like, okay, now you're going to buy this product on this app. So they're going to use your product just like they're using it in the real time, and you'll get input, and that's going to be timed. So this way you can really find out like which how long they can wait. Try to cater to the right try to recruit your participants for your test in the same demographics as you anticipate your customers to be. And this is what I wanted to say in the test phase. And I had a few links that I'd like to share with you, which I found them useful, especially the one on animation and transitions. It's really nice. I'd really recommend you to read them. So I've categorized the list that I like the links that I'll be sharing as just performance, animations, and the loaders that we talked about so far. So yes. Yes, this is what I have from me. Thank you so much. Now, if you wanna ask me, like, if anyone of you like is being UI developer and is being asked, should your UI be fast or slow? I'd say ask your user, and you all should say that you all should ask your user. So, yeah, I've shared the resources, and this is what I have for you. Thank you so much. Just two more things. Just two more things about the weekly challenge and the attendance certificate. Uh, I hope you're able to see the slide on my screen. And thank you. Let's build good things together. So, if we have any questions, we can take them now. So, I'm looking at the chat window, and you can ask me any questions if you have. UI is user interface. So the links I've shared in the chat box, like they're really helpful. Particularly the one on animations. This one it covers like different kind of responses that you can have, and what's the kind of like proper use, which kind of animation that you need to use in which place. So I found it quite helpful. Okay, so the type of animation is called skeleton UI or placeholders. So placeholder UI. So the ones I've shared on that'll be shared to you on like loaders. It's called loaders. So you can find different types of loaders here, like the links that I've categorized, like all of them. it has a good literature review, and it talks about like just like why you should be using skeleton UI and things. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you. I think there are no questions, so thank you. I hope you enjoyed the session. And all the resources are in the comment bar down on the video, like near the YouTube link. Thank you.